Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of WYTPod, the online community for e-commerce entrepreneurs and business owners. And today we have a very special guest with us. She is the founder of the Sweat Relief Company and the sweatytea.com website. And her name is Joan. Joan, thanks a lot for joining us today. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. I am just fine. Really happy to be here today.
Good stuff. So let's jump right in, just so people can know a little bit about you. Would you mind sharing a little bit of your background?
Yeah, I've been active since I was, a little kid and on my soccer team and in school sports and volleyball. And I carried that with me even after high school into college and beyond. I'm now 56 and I exercise every day. And it helps me keep my weight down. I do eat a lot, a lot of food, and exercise is a great way to try to stay in shape without having to like diet a lot. So like I said, I exercise every day, and even during the pandemic, I was eating even more than usual, and I would exercise twice a day. So
Right.
it's who I am. I do a lot of exercising, and
You
I
love
work
food and
out.
you love exercise. I think it's a great combination, right?
Yeah, and I also sweat a lot.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I part of exercising, try to burn calories, and sweat was a real problem for me. And I remember a while ago, a friend of mine said she didn't like to exercise because the sweat always bothered her, just feeling sweaty after a workout. And I was like, gee, that's not, I mean, yeah, I get that way too, but that's not a reason not to exercise. So I always had that in my mind. And then I came up with this company and the two t-shirts that my company makes, because it's a funny story. At the time, I was driving to a track every morning to go for a jog. And I only had two t-shirts. I had a yellow polyester shirt and a black cotton shirt, and I alternated them every day. And on my way to the track, I would have like this conversation in my head. I would look down at my shirt and I would say, okay, Joan, you're wearing your black shirt today. It's cotton. So when you're running, you're going to be able to use the bottom of the shirt to dry off the sweat after you run and during your run. And that's really good.
Guilty. I
Yeah,
do that.
right? Either
Yeah.
that or this way, right?
100%. Yeah.
And then on the other day, I'm wearing my polyester shirt, and I would be driving in my car, and I'd say, okay, I'm wearing my yellow shirt. That means I won't be able to wipe the sweat away, but I will feel like the sweat's not sticking on my shirt and sticking on my body while I'm running, and that's a really good thing too. And I was having this conversation like for a year. And then one day I'm like, why don't I try to combine the two ideas into one shirt? And at the time, I couldn't sew. So I asked the seamstress to sew a red cotton shirt into a red polyester shirt at the bottom. So there was a red cotton shirt into a red polyester shirt. And I tried
Were
that.
their
And that was,
minds blown by that request? Or, I mean,
was their mind or my mind?
their minds. I mean, you already had
Well,
them in mind, but they must have been like, whoa, what? Okay.
she was she was she was not just, but she was a seamstress and she was used to just doing whatever the client wanted. For me, my mind wasn't blown because the cotton, although I liked the idea, wasn't absorbent enough. And that's when I decided to try terry cloth instead of a cotton. And this is actually the first t-shirt design from that idea. There's another one, but this is the first one. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I can totally see it. That's perfect.
No, this is actually terry cloth sewn and attached to the bottom of a regular
It's a
t-shirt.
cotton t-shirt and the terry cloth is the pocket. It's made of terry cloth, right?
Well, no, this has no pocket. This is just a
Oh,
panel, a
okay. Ah,
snap.
that's just a face wiping area. Oh, wow.
Right. I
Okay.
can put it
Yeah.
on and demonstrate. But the point is that this shirt is not all cotton. It has polyester, so it still has some sweat wicking properties to it. And
Yeah.
then also slits on the bottom. Can you see these slits?
I do see that. Yep.
And that lets you lift it up to
Very
dry your
cool.
face. And then there's another slit on this side too. See?
Right.
Um,
Yeah, freedom of movement. It looks pretty comfortable.
Right. And then it does. And then
And you can do
another thing
this.
that happened, sorry?
I said, and like you said, you can do this. You can pick it up more easily and wipe off. Yeah, there you go.
And also your hands. So if you're playing like paddleball, tennis, pickleball, weightlifting,
Yes,
you don't have to use chalk.
that would be handy for sure.
But I started off using polyester shirts, and then I knew that that wasn't eco-friendly, and I wanted to use sustainable fabrics only. So now the shirts I use are recycled polyester, cotton, and maybe some tencel.
All
So they
right.
still have, it still feels like a sweat wicking shirt, is what I'm trying to say.
So how long did it think for you to, how long did it take for you to think of the name for your website?
Oh, a sweaty tee. Well,
Yeah,
now I'm calling them sweat tees instead of sweaty tee because I just think it sounds a little bit better. Sweat tee.
I got it.
But that was pretty instantaneous. And then the Sweat Relief Company came a little bit after that. The company name is Sweaty Tea officially.
I got it.
It's incorporated as Sweaty Tea.
Sweaty tea. It's a very catchy name, very memorable.
Thank you.
And it
And
makes
then
sense.
yeah, Sweat Relief because it really is. And then it helps you stay motivated. You'll want to continue exercising. For me, the sweat starts like right around my head and starts trickling down into my ears and my neck and then into my eyes. And it's just so annoying. So this is a great way of getting rid of annoying sweat. And then, like my friend from years ago, it's not such an impediment. And now exercising isn't such a chore. I mean, of course, other things help, like I like to watch a news show while I'm exercising or a movie. And then the time just goes really fast. And before you know it, you're done.
Fantastic. Um, so I was going to ask, like, what separates your product from the competition, but I think it's apparent. It's
Yeah,
it's
there is
it's
nothing else
different,
like
right?
this. Yeah, there's nothing else like this on the market. And I have at this point, because I did a lot of research onto fabrics and sizes and fits, I have every shirt in my closet. And, when I want to exercise, I can pick any one I want. I always pick one of these because, like I said, sweat is a real problem for me. And I think it is for a lot of other people. And I think it really solves a big problem. So I
Yeah,
want to,
nobody wants to be super sweaty, and then also I think it's a matter of courtesy if you're in a gym with other people that you don't want to leave a trail of sweat behind you wherever you go as well. Am I right?
I agree. And what's nice is that if you were to bring a towel, your towel, now that it's on your shirt, isn't going to come in contact with any gym equipment, any other possible germs. So
Right.
can I show you the other style?
I wish you would. Yeah, let's have a look.
Okay. This one is called tee with pocket, and it also comes in tank top. So here,
Okay.
if this is like a kangaroo pocket that's on a regular sweatshirt,
Yep.
except it's made of terry cloth. It's not, cotton like a sweatshirt. This is terry cloth, lightweight. So, imagine you're on the elliptical and your hands are getting sweaty. You just go like this and now they're not sweaty. And you go back to the elliptical like this or any, the cycle when your hands get sweaty. But the other great thing is now that your neck and it's dripping on your face, you take out this little cute mini towel that's a little bit heavier terry cloth, and you can get your face and your
Right.
neck and behind your neck. And now you just stick it back in and you go back to your elliptical. I
Right. That
use this
resonates with
every,
me because I really I dislike gloves. I never wear gloves. And if I'm on the rowing machine or the elliptical and my hands get sweaty, it can be pretty uncomfortable. So you give a quick wipe and you're back in action. So yeah, I'll have to try it out.
yeah, I'll have to send you one. But yeah, like I'm usually going like this, like all the time, and it's just such a relief. And then I can keep on going. So now I can exercise for an hour if I want instead of a half an hour.
Right. Without getting sweat in your eyes and the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. What's your best selling product, Joan?
this one. the tee
One you're
with
wearing, that makes
the
sense.
pocket. But these too, these are also very popular. A lot of men like these.
What's your personal favorite?
When I mow my lawn, I use this
Okay.
because it's just easy to reach down and go like that.
So
I
this
can do
color
it with
you're
one
wearing,
hand.
would that be a dusty rose by any chance, or what would
It's
you
a
call it?
dusty rose,
Aren't you
and we
impressed
have
that I knew that?
yes, and we have a lot of different colors on the website too.
Cool. Yeah, I had a look through there. You got a lot of good stuff on there. So awesome, Joan. Now, finally, are there any words of wisdom that you'd like to pass along to any fellow entrepreneurs who are starting a business?
Yeah, I mean, I really thought about this one long and hard. I knew you were going to ask me, and I wanted to say something helpful. And the best way to answer it, I think, is to talk from my own personal experience, which might not be the same for everyone else. But for me, I didn't want to venture off into a business unknown terrain. And by unknown terrain, I mean not knowing where your next paycheck's coming from and when. And that's a really scary thing. So I waited and I chose a career completely unrelated to my business right now because I cared more at that time about things like paying rent, paying for food, paying for utilities. So I put the business off. So I'm now 56, and this is when I want to pursue this full time. And it's different for other people. If you're young and in your 20s, but you can live at home and you have a relationship with your parents and they're fine with you taking this financial risk now at your
Yeah.
young 20s, then that's great too. So the point
Yep.
is, I think it's different for everybody, but it also has to be that you have an idea that you believe in and you think is useful. So in some way in your life, those two things, that your ability to take a financial risk because you're in a good place, and that idea where you have something you really believe in and you think can go somewhere, they have to intersect. And I think that's going to be at different places for different people. And then the only other thing I want to add to that is that I think unless you have money that you don't care how you're spending it, and if you don't care if you lose it, I think at some point you have to ask yourself what kind of spender you are. And I would compare that to being like if you went gambling, like to a casino, like Atlantic City. Do you go there and you have, let's just say $100, and you can stop and you can say, okay, I'm gonna spend $100, whatever happens, happens. Or at the end of that $100, are you now rushing to an ATM to get more money, to put more money into your gambling because you really think you're going to hit it big? And so the point is, do you know how to stop? Because having your own business is like gambling. You don't know. It's like the lottery. And you have to know how to pace yourself and don't go too far where you just spend too much money and it doesn't work out. You have to know how to stop at some point.
Wow, that's a really refreshing take, Joan. I
I'm
talk
not
to a lot of
quite.
business owners, and you put it very succinctly. I think you're right, and I think when you get a little older, it takes a lot more courage to risk it all. When you're young, you can bounce back, right? So, like for people, who are risking a lot, I guess you have to be completely committed. And you're right. Um, you have to have the right personality for it, I think is what you're saying, right?
Right. You need to pace yourself. You don't want to go bankrupt. If it's not working out, you can't keep throwing money at it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, with social media today, you can actually get your brand out there and not have to spend a lot of money. But the first thing that's going to happen when you open up a business is people are going to trounce on you, and they're going to want to be a consultant. They're going to want you to pay them fees. Don't do any of that. Just stick to what you know and what you're trying to get done. You don't have to start with a lot of people in the very beginning.
Right. All right. Pearls of wisdom.
For instance, for me, I didn't have money for labor, and I taught myself how to sew on YouTube. with YouTube videos. And that's, how I kept labor down in the beginning. Now I use faculties in the United States, in Detroit right now. I'm working with a manufacturer in Detroit. But in the beginning, it was just me. I was a one-woman show. And I'm still, if anyone wants to partner with me, I'm definitely interested in partnering so I don't have to spend all of my money.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, Joan, thanks again for taking the time. Really nice insights. Really appreciate your time.
Oh,
Thanks.
it's been a
Thanks a
pleasure.
lot. And wish you
Thank,
continued success.
thank you so much.
Thanks a ton, Joan.